Today is Monday, April 26, 2021. Right now it is 12:10 p.m. and I'm just talking about, I made videos 4 years ago. The extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superiors told me about some Russian guy, and they even said something, I think it was a comment or something I said about this individual could be killed. And clear as day, I found out who this man is that I'm about to show you. In this case, you want to know a little bit about me. I'm the guy, well, I guess you can consider me as the first unregistered super soldier. I lifted 180 pounds with each arm. Throwing punches with them was my max. I couldn't go beyond 180 pounds because it felt like my wrist was going to come out of socket. So due to my mortality, I wasn't able to go beyond 180 pounds. And when I had it, I'm throwing punches with them. I moved the ball. I moved the ball with the wind. When there's conditions for wind, you can use the wind. When there's conditions for lightning, you can use the lightning. When there's conditions for cold, you can use the cold. When there's conditions for heat, you can use the heat. And when there's conditions for more than one element, you can use more than one element at a time. And I've also was teleported by the extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superiors, and they revealed unto me that science is the study of chain events that take place after God says, does, or thinks something into existence, and biology is the study of God. And I've also won $10,000 using a psychochromatic ability where I can figure out which stack of scratch-offs had the big winning number in them. And if there's anybody that would like to put me to the test, of course, naturally, I'll be more than willing to prove y'all that to show the world that I do have this ability. I've also have a video out there on the net showing how I was 10 moves ahead of my friend playing dominoes with him using this ability. And now I'm about to show you and reveal to you why I know for a fact this individual I'm about to show you is none other than the man that I talked about. 4 years before I even knew this dude existed, and I don't know nothing about Russian politics. And here we go. Now this, I'm gonna take y'all down memory lane and show y'all a video that I did. It's about 6 minutes long. I try to cut it off as soon as I can, but I just have to show you that I know for a fact I'm talking to the extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superiors, which is none other than the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, who is Israel, Moses the prophet, Elijah the prophet, Daniel the prophet, the extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superior known as Gabriel, and the extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superior known as Michael, and the extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superior known as Yeshua, who is also translated into and well known on this planetoid as Jesus Christ of Nazareth, who is none other than God's one and only begotten Son, that who shall believe him should not perish but have everlasting life, and the God of me. And this information came to me 4 years ago when I was talking to them. And this is before I moved the ball with the wind. And this is before I started putting the videos on how to turn the pick 4 into a 1 out of 1,000 chance instead of a 1 out of 10,000 chance, and how to turn a pick 3 into a 1 out of 10 chance instead of a 1 out of 3 chance. So it's not a coincidence that I'm this super smart and I have all these abilities, and I just mysteriously happen to see extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superiors from outer space. And I also know this information that I received from them 4 years ago. There goes another day that I've been talking to the angels all day. This is to talk to the Russians, and they told me to say all these words I'm about to say. Well, it's actually to Vladimir Putin. They said, they talk more about this man that the Russians know that it's not like Vladimir Putin. He's like a new evolution type, Russian type man. They say they know exactly who they are because he doesn't have the same persona as, I guess, what you consider the average Russian who wants to take over the world, or at least all the countries surrounding his or carry on the legacy of Adolf Hitler, I guess. I don't know what, and whoever this Russian is, it has the new mind frame. Then they were talking to me about him and stuff, and then they're revealing unto me stuff, and then I said, oh my God, what if I put this out and Vladimir Putin hears this? And he said the man is well known and they know who I'm talking about, and he tries to do what Herod tried to do and tried to kill Jesus, and tries to kill this man so that he wouldn't be the president that the extraterrestrials, Homo sapiens superiors, are talking about for Russia, to give them a more positive outlook and not such a negative mind frame for the rest of the world to view them as. And then me and the angels were talking, and then I started to start begging for the man's life, because they said somebody Vladimir Putin was going to see this and try to kill the man and stuff like that. And I started begging and begging for the man's life and have mercy and spare this man and all that talk, usual talk stuff where where they're telling you something about the future and stuff, and you hoping that you can you're special enough of a man to put in a request not to let that happen. And then they promised me that they weren't going to let Vladimir Putin kill this man and take his life. And they also told me to give Vladimir Putin this message. They said when I say this, he'll know exactly what he's talking about. He said, Vladimir Putin, you know and understand that you can't be president for long, and one day your body will start to wither, and you too will also become dust like everybody else on our planet. And that's their message, what they said, and it makes sense. I don't know if that means he's going to be president until he starts getting elderly, or that was just his message that needs to be said so that the man's life that everybody knows is denominated the angels. It's a Russian that these extraterrestrial outer space men like, and they like his point of view and his persona and his attitude and his finesse and his characteristic, and I guess even the way that he was raised and the way he thinks and problem solves. And they like his persona more for the Russian people versus Vladimir Putin. And they are letting him know that he can't live forever and he can't be president of Russia forever, that he's going to have to yield that seat eventually. So he might as well not try to kill everybody that he feels is trying to get him for his power throne seat. No, it's designed, I believe it was designed to be shared, if I'm not mistaken. That's why they vote. So not just one man can have it all to himself and give the Russians a negative point of view, because he could have a mental problem or just not think rationally, or he doesn't think logically. He's obsessed with man-made power, but he doesn't have absolute power over heaven and earth. Like, I'll show you, want to see what the absolute power of heaven and earth, what I do an experiment. I have two balls, and I'm gonna lay them down. I'm gonna let y'all see one ball, which I believe the beach ball will be lighter than the other ball I'm gonna show you. Now I'll let the natural wind in the area move the volleyball on its own, but I'll show you how the other ball is not moving. Then I'm going to say the prayer and all that stuff, and then I'm going to show you. I even bounce the ball in the video before I place it down, so y'all know there's no strings attached to it, and then I'm just going to a random section in the park. And then I'm going to say the prayer, and I'm going to give the command for the wind to blow that ball, and you know what I'm saying, make it move. And y'all see this with your own eyes, how you control the prayer, how you control the weather with just a simple prayer. And if you're intelligent enough, everything you see me do, you will understand and know that you can do it more, which means you'll take the prayer, and it probably didn't work for you with the wind as it did with me, but maybe it worked with you when you was in the ring. You said the prayer before, maybe you're a boxer, and you say the prayer before you have a fight, and you haven't lost a fight. You like the Floyd Mayweather or something. Every time you say this prayer before it actually happens, you know what I'm saying? And try to give y'all more proof and belief that this is not all fake and fantasies. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the prophecies happened, but then if the Russians helped Donald Trump become president, then they altered the timeline and I'm still living in the alternate reality, just not one that I controlled. One that a man that had access to the financial power in the timeline I live in, and also had access to the internet and stuff such as that. That's why he probably was aware of the video I put out. But then maybe, or I'm hoping I'm too small of a man for anybody to really notice and pay attention. You know, from their point of view, after all those missions went south, I could just be babbling. You know what I'm saying? And nonsense, or what they call delusions of a demented man or something of that nature. You know, however you want to label it, is your point of view, your persona. You have the right to think and view that way. Then anyway, that's the message to the Russian and the message to Vladimir Putin. Smith out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I also have that video where I moved the wind with the ball. And if I have enough footage, I will show y'all that at the end of this video. And I will try to go to the short version, because I have a whole 10-minute version. And I'll try to go straight to the short version, where that way y'all can see. And all y'all got to do when y'all watch this video, listen to the wind from the whole entire video from the beginning to end. I encourage y'all to listen to the 10-minute video and listen to it from the beginning, and listen to how the wind sounds, and then listen to how the wind sounds when it pushes the ball. And you can tell definitely something was different by the way that the wind sounds when it pushes the ball. And now I'm finna go to another video for y'all. Give me one quick sec. Oh, and by the way, that can't be a coincidence that I knew all this stuff about this man before I even saw him. And I know nothing about Russian politics, and I know nothing about anything to do with Russia other than how they like to bully the rest of the world and taunt their so-called nuclear power that they stole from us. One moment, please. And by the way, I just wanted y'all to make sure that y'all understood what this video was called before I jump to the next. If I can get this straight. It is called Message from the Spaceman to Russia and Putin, is how I labeled it, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's exactly how it's read. Now this video is called Guidance for the Russians from My Master, the Extraterrestrial Homo Sapien Superior from Outer Space. And if you read at the bottom, it says guidance for the Russian people from my master, the extraterrestrial Homo sapien superior from outer space, who identifies himself as God. And I went 18 minutes and 3 seconds in because it's a very long video. But if y'all allow me to, I'm just going to show y'all what I need to see. And then at the end of this video, I would try to go back and show y'all the whole thing. But some prehistoric stupid BS. And if we were all immortals like the angels, would that skin tone be the last thing we'd be thinking about? Because we all can turn to the same skin tone. We may all want to be a lighter skin tone when we go towards the top of a mountain, and we all may want to transform our skin to a darker skin tone as we go to a more tropical, warm environment. We don't have that ability. We're stuck with the skin tone that we're born with. While the angels get to morph and shed and transform us because they use 100% brain capacity. They have superhuman speed, strength, and agility, mind over matter, telekinesis, and also a crown of light floating over their head. They appear to be between 22 to 26 years old. Maybe their brain stem also stop growing at a certain age, or maybe their brain stem don't stop growing, but they look young with large heads. But anyway, that's what I was saying, Russia. Help your boy out. I'm trying not to find excuses to take y'all out in natural cause form. And all I ask is give yourselves a fighting chance and vote whoever this man is. I don't know. The angel said it's up to y'all. Whoever this guy, they said when I put this out here, y'all gonna know the exact man that I'm talking about. Well, to all y'all Russians that see this, if y'all know the exact man that I am talking about, That is the man that they, and guess what? I never met that man. I don't know nothing about his personality. I don't watch Russian TV because I can't understand it and I don't have access to it. But they said that y'all Russians will know who I'm talking about. So please, can you just vote that man into y'all government so that everybody can get a more positive look at Russia than negative. Thank you very much. Smith out. Okay, and I will go back and play that video later on. But what I want to let y'all know is that these videos happened 4 years ago, a little over 4 years ago, okay? And there's no way in the world I could have known that this man existed or who this individual was, especially when I'm not into Russian politics or anything of that nature, you know, because I guess Russia doesn't really excite me because it's a cold environment. And I don't like the cold. As you can tell by my skin tone, I prefer the tropical-like environments. That's why I'm down here in the big Lone Star state of Texas. And if you give me 1 second, I'm about to show you who this individual is. And now I know for a fact who this individual is that the extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superiors were talking to me about. And ladies and gentlemen, without a doubt, here's that man. And to prove it, remember I told y'all that God said something that they're going to try to kill this man and they weren't going to let this man die? Can you believe it? My prayers worked. I didn't even know who this individual was. But guess what? He was spared by my prayers, begging and crying out to the extra Homo sapiens superiors. This is the man that they want to be president of Russia. I guarantee you this. This man does not have the personality traits of an individual who wants to conquer the planet or wants to bully the planet or follow the traits, the footsteps of Adolf Hitler or Vladimir Putin. And here is proof and evidence to back me up of what I am saying.
Alexey Navalny has been the most vocal and effective critic of Russia's government and President Vladimir Putin. This was the moment Navalny boarded a plane from Berlin to Moscow, his first return home since being near fatally poisoned by a Novichok nerve toxin, a version of events the Kremlin rejects.
Вам я тоже хочу сказать большое спасибо, и я надеюсь, что мы с вами долетим. Я уверен, что все будет абсолютно прекрасно. Я сегодня очень счастлив, и будет круто, если вы дадите здесь.
But he didn't get far. He was detained at passport control and said goodbye to his wife. Now he's being held in this Moscow prison in pre-trial detention, despite calls from Western countries and the UN to free him. The son of an army officer, the 44-year-old grew up in Minsk, about 60 miles southwest of Moscow. He has a degree in law and spent time in the United States on a fellowship at Yale. Navalny is best known in Russia for producing detailed investigations into corruption. His nickname for the ruling United Russia Party, the party of crooks and thieves, has become common coinage among his supporters. His calls for restrictions on immigration and criticism of what some viewed as his overly nationalist views led to his expulsion from the liberal Yabloko opposition party in 2007. During anti-Putin demonstrations in 2011, he was one of the first protest leaders arrested. In 2013, Navalny ran for mayor of Moscow. He lost to the Kremlin-backed choice, but still got 27% of the vote, despite little to no coverage on the state-controlled media outlets. Since then, Alexey Navalny has been barred from running for office. Instead, he uses social media to mobilize crowds of mostly young protesters. Putin and the Kremlin make a point of never saying his name. Navalny has been detained countless times for organizing public rallies and prosecuted repeatedly. He and his supporters have also been physically attacked. In 2017, a green antiseptic dye was thrown at him, causing him to temporarily lose sight in one eye. In August 2020, he fell ill on a flight from Siberia. He was flown to Berlin and treated for what tests showed to be Novichok, poison developed in the Soviet Union. A joint media investigation said it had identified a team of assassins from Russia's FSB security service. Putin dismissed the investigation as a smear, saying if someone had wanted to poison him, they could finish him off.
And I'm trying to tell you that can't be a coincidence. I just know for a fact this cannot be a coincidence. And to prove my theory, I will show you another video. One moment, please. Here goes another video with more data and information to prove my theory that this is the man that they're talking about. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, I told y'all that I'm the very first non-recorded super soldier in the U.S. Army Infantry Division, because there was no other soldier that can apparently do anything that I could do and are better when it comes down to physical strength with your arms, and when it comes down to all these errant abilities that I received from the extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superior, which is none other than the Holy Kingdom of God. Or should I say none other than the Holy Kingdom of the one and only true living God. And I can't play this video. It's 10 minutes and I don't want to bore y'all with a 10-minute video, so I'm just get straight to it and I'm going to cut it off at a point.
On August 19th, 2020, Russian politician Alexey Navalny was shooting this campaign video. He was in Siberia, one of the many places where in about 3 weeks there would be local and regional elections. But he wasn't running for office. He was urging people to vote out the ruling party, United Russia, led by the President Vladimir Putin.
Мы с вами разберем, как можно победить эту ненасытную жабу, партию «Единая Россия». И до тех пор, пока мы от них не избавимся, шансов на нормальную жизнь у нас нет.
He's made many videos like this before, and they usually rack up millions of views. It's this ability to reach people via the internet that has helped make Navalny the face of Russia's opposition movement. Soon after making his case in Siberia, he got on a plane bound for Moscow. But the plane was suddenly diverted to Omsk. Navalny had been poisoned and collapsed on the plane. An investigation later revealed that he had been poisoned with Novichok, a highly toxic nerve agent that was developed by the Soviet Union in the 1970s.
Now, I paused it, ladies and gentlemen, because remember what I told y'all. I have to cry out to the extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superior to spare this man. So, because he sounded like he was the right man for the job to be president and head of state of the Russian people. And it's not a coincidence that I have to pray and ask and beg the extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superiors not to kill this man. And then guess what? This man was spared. And guess what? I am a man that can call another asteroid or meteor, whatever the heck you want to call it, fire from heaven, or whatever you want to identify, back down on Russian people. But guess what? The extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superiors are telling me that there are good people in Russia. There are people not trying to act like Vladimir Putin. There are people not trying to act like Russia. There are wee babes that are innocent and haven't done anything and don't know nothing about these corrupt government politics of Russia and stuff. And they cried out to me and asked me to spare these Russian people. And now look, this man is here, and all I ask is that the Russian people give this man a fair fighting chance to be the president of your country, so that guys like me who have had the awakening do not look at your country as a villain, as Vladimir Putin has painted y'all, and will not be trying to take y'all out with my irritability that nobody else on the face of this planet out of 7.5 billion people have other than me. And all I'm trying to do is be responsible with my abilities. Because I guess as they stated, great power comes great responsibility. And from my point of view and my perspective, I don't see Vladimir Putin being responsible whatsoever. That's why we need a change of government down there in Russia. And I hope and pray that y'all Russian people see this, the ones that speak and understand English, and spread the word that this is the man for y'all. This is the man that the extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superiors has saved and spared. This is the man that they like. This is the man that they love. This is the man that they want to rule the country, Russia, not Vladimir Putin.
It was also used, likely by Russia in 2018, to attack Sergei Skripal, a former spy. Navalny survived the assassination attempt and set up a movement unlike any in recent history. How did he do it? And why is he such a threat to him?
They asked, how did he do it? How did he survive, I guess is what they're asking. And I'm telling you right now, it's thanks to me and the extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superiors from outer space who look 100% like white men from the eyebrows down in skin tone. But guess what? They're not prejudiced and their hearts are not filled with hatred. I guess that's a good spot to pause it at, because I don't want to play the whole entire video, but y'all can find that video on the net if you look them up. And now I'm finna go to another video, and then I will go to the other videos that I was telling you about to prove my case. And now I'm gonna go play a few minutes about this with this video as well, because I have other videos and I'm trying not to make this a very long video, because I know people don't want to sit down and for like 40 minutes or more watching this. But I just had to show, when I discovered this was the man, I just had to put another video out.
August 20th, on a flight to Moscow, a passenger captures the awful wails of Alexei Navalny.
August 20th, on a flight to Moscow, 4 years before I did this, as correction as I am, 4 years after, or roughly give or take 3-4 years after I did this video. Well, after I did the video that I'm about to show y'all next after this.
The Russian opposition leader has suddenly fallen ill, and he knows exactly why.
I get out of the bathroom, turned over to the flight attendant and said him I was poisoned, I'm gonna die, and then I lay down under his feet and to die.
And ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell y'all right now, if y'all build a time machine, go back in the past and convince these white people here in Fort Worth, Texas, who bullied me outside the court of law, who bugged me, tapped me, surveilled me, kept pulling me over, writing unnecessary traffic tickets. I got pulled over by the same cops twice, sometimes 3 times in a row in the same day. Got wrote 2-3 times the same tickets on the same day. Then I found out they can't even do that because that's double and triple jeopardy. And now I will admit I got in trouble as a juvenile. And when I didn't even know I was being watched, bugged, or tapped and surveilled. It wasn't until I had my 1978 Malibu that I turned my radio up as I was driving, and I started getting police heat everywhere. So one day I did an experiment. I didn't understand. Every time I turn my radio up to the max, I'm getting police heat. So I did an experiment one day, because I know sometimes police try to pull you over because your music could be loud. So I turned my music all the way up. I walked outside of my car, shut the doors, and guess what? I didn't hear anything whatsoever. Which means the reason why I had the police heat on me is because they could not hear what I was doing and saying on the inside of my car, because my car was bugged or tapped. Now check this out. They even stuck their knee on my neck and tried to choke me to death. Back in Town Center Mall in 1996, I could have been easily the first George Floyd of this, you know what I'm saying? But when I was 16 years old, 17 years old, about 16 years old, give or take. And further go down the line. Now check this out. When I came to the conclusion I was being bugged, tapped, watched, and surveilled, these people did not care. They were bold. They were so bold they didn't even give a fuck if I knew or not, if I was being surveilled or not. That's how confident they were they gonna get away with it. But guess what? They messed with the wrong dude. And I'm finna tell you why. Because I didn't know how to fight back to illegal prejudice outside of the court of law. All I know is that if I can get these people in the court of law, that they will lose, because you have to have taps and bugs that have to be signed off by a judge in a court order in order to do this to me. And they harassed me. Now, one day I had a dream of how to win the lottery. And, well, I won't even go into that. That's irrelevant. But what I did, instead of doing this stupid thing, I saw one time on the news that this black man, I guess, was going through the same thing I was. He got pissed off and he ran up in the police station, started shooting up a whole bunch of unnecessary cops. But guess what? I didn't do that. You know what I did? I went and got me 12 rocks from a nice, smooth, calm stream. And I went out to a prayer field and I started praying and crying out to God about this injustice. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? all of a sudden I start seeing shooting stars, right? Now, guess what? They weren't shooting stars. At first, I thought they were shooting stars until one day that I talked about the gay bishop. That was a hot topic down here in the USA. And then next, I saw a star do a Z shape in outer space. But guess what? There's absolutely nowhere in the known and unknown void of the universe that a star can do a Z shape. And then guess what? Shortly after that, I'm outside again at night, praying with my 12 rocks, crying out to God about the injustice that I'm getting and all that. Then I heard a white man, I guess these white people that were watching me at a distance, following, bugging me and tapping me at a distance, said, "Shut up," with a big old thick country hillbilly accent. "Get back in the house." Then I heard a boom. He shot off a shotgun. I heard it cock and I heard it shoot off. Then I screamed out to God. This is in Holcomb City, Texas. And I screamed out to God. I said, "You see, God, I'm out here praying to you. And these men are out here bothering me because of my skin tone I am." And I said, I had no choice to be the skin tone I am. I said, "You made me the skin tone that I am." And right before my eyes and the eyes of these men that were watching, bugging, tapping me, a big, massive, huge ball of light bust through the atmosphere and went shoo and paused in midair and then did a perfect right triangle to outer space. But before that, I saw a beautiful white, some type of bird, or like a pterodactyl. It's like a cloud. It was flying by. And as it flew by, then here come this big, giant, massive ball of light bust through the atmosphere, paused in midair, then did a perfect right triangle to outer space. Then guess what? The very next day, these men that were harassing me, that used to follow me and my brother to the store, guess what? They were still following us to the store. But this little prejudiced white man used to be up on me and my brother's heels. Like he was literally almost touching our heels, following us to the store. But guess what? This time he still followed me to the store, but he followed me to the store at a distance. He wasn't up on my heels no more because he saw what I saw. And then guess what else? He usually comes in the store, the corner store where we at, and he'll follow us around the store, and then we buy what we want and go back to the, walk back to the apartment complex. He'd be on our heels. So this time he didn't even come in the store. He stood outside the store. He waited for me to come out of the store, and he waited for a few moments and then followed me back. But this time he was at a greater distance than ever. Then the next day, I looked up in the sky and I saw a cloud. A cloud was in a vision of a man in a robe, and I couldn't believe it. It was a man in a robe with an egg-shaped head in the cloud, and I said, "Oh my God, I see you." Then right before my eyes, a red Jeep Cherokee stopped, paused. A white man got out of the car. He had on thick sunglasses. I couldn't see his eyes. He looked at me. Then he looked up at the sky and saw the same figure that I did. Then he looked back at me again. Then he looked back up at the sky again, and he hopped back in his car and drove off. But how did he know what I said? I was outside. My God, how did he even know what I said? How did he know the pulse right there in front of me and look at the same thing that I saw? Now, later on, exactly about 7 days later, I was in front of my mom's house. I was in my mom's house, and I saw a commercial for Star Trek Voyager when they went to this planet you can find in this first season. And these people had like these little strange like devices over their heads or something, like halos or whatever you want to call it. I guess like jewelry or something, some type of cosmetic jewelry or something over their head. And then as soon as the commercial's over, bam, I lost my sight and I lost my vision. Then I saw this thing look like I was in a blizzard, a whiteout. Then all of a sudden, it cleared up in an instant. I lost my color vision. And then standing in front of me was the one and only true living God, standing with Michael right next to him. They looked like two regular white men from the eyebrows down, but their heads was 2-3 times bigger than mine from the eyebrows up. When I saw them, my scientific brain took off and my religious brain took off. My scientific brain told me that I'm looking at two extraterrestrial Homo sapien white men from outer space. But my religious brain took off when I saw the crown of life that looked like a static electricity halo floating over their head. Now, they showed me they had 5 fingers and 5 toes. I felt like my head was stretching. They stood about the same height as me. According to the U.S. Army infantry, I'm 68 inches. And they also stood 68 inches from the eyebrows down from me. So I'm regular average height for a Homo sapien, no matter what section of the void that you're located in. No, I'm from the void of outer space. But they appear to be slightly taller than me due to the fact that their heads was 2 or maybe even perhaps 3 times bigger than my head. And they look about, I estimate, between 22, 26 years old. But I can tell they were older than that because the top of their heads were huge. In order for you to have a head that huge, man, you have to grow into that. And God even told me once that his age is an eon past a trillion. But then just as soon as the teleportation cycle started, it all ended. And this happened around October. I even got invited to a Halloween party and all that. And hopefully if NASA recorded that, I can probably even go on and pay a private investigator or NASA to find this footage of this big giant spacecraft that buzzed through the atmosphere and paused in midair and shot back into outer space. Now, I come back. I have all these abilities. I'm controlling the wind. I'm controlling the lightning. I'm just doing all sorts of stuff. I'm a mastermind when it comes down to drawing lottery number trap strategies on how to trap all the numbers. When I draw my strategies on paper, I always win all the millions of dollars. But when I played in real life, my plays go zigzag. Then it wasn't until I came out of the army that I discovered that the lottery commissions are cheating. They monitor the bids before the actual drawings take place so they can have the advantage to change the machine or the ball set or both on you, so they can change the outcome of the natural event that would have not happened if the machine or ball set was not changed or altered with. And because of that, they're always cheating. And guess what? I'm usually 1 ball away from the jackpot. Every time I play the all or nothing, I'm usually 1 ball away from the jackpot. Then they put the heat on me. The lottery commission put the heat on me, waiting for me to play again so they can cheat again. So I have to give a cool down period and let them not see my plays for like a period of 6 weeks or so, then come back in there and I have greater success because they were unexpected. But anyway, that's all I'm trying not to go off key. But what I'm trying to tell you is that this is not a coincidence that I'm talking to these extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superiors from outer space who is known as the God race. Yes, all of us humans, we're known as the God race. Because we are Homo sapiens, we're extraterrestrial, we're not superior, we're the God race inferiors. We're designed to think like gods, but due to the fact that we grow old and die, we're inferior to them. And they are, I'm talking about our species. Our species is the God species, but we're the mortal God, we're the mortal version of the God species. And God and the holy angels and the holy heaven hosts of heaven are the eternal versions of the God species. And I don't want to go too far. I don't want this video to be too long, but I'm gonna just let this continue to play.
You knew in that moment that you'd been poisoned. Quick thinking from the pilot saves his life. Instead of flying on to Moscow, still 3 hours away, the plane diverts to...
The quick thinking from the pilot saved his life. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, I told you I prayed and cried out to God to save this man. I don't know who this man is. But look, he's in politics. He's a Russian. This has to be the man that God saved. It has to be. And because of my prayers, God did exactly what needed to be done. He gave that plot the intelligence that he needed to turn around and save this man.
Almost 2 days later, Navalny is flown to Berlin. The German government announces he has been poisoned with the nerve agent Novichok. Now an exclusive investigation can reveal a top-secret mission tracking Navalny, involving experts in chemical weapons who worked for the FSB, the Russian successor to the Soviet KGB. This nondescript building on the outskirts of Moscow was the headquarters of the operation.
And we're going to pause it right there. Y'all can find this scene in video on the internet. Now, so I don't make this video too long, I'm going to show y'all a video with me. I guess the video with me moving the ball with the wind. I'm trying to get the 5-minute version because I don't really want to divert from what I'm trying to say, but I just want to prove and show y'all proof and evidence of me moving this ball with the wind with a prayer, just to prove to you that I'm not a bunch of BS and this is not hocus pocus and I'm not a crazy delusional man. I guarantee you I'm not. One moment. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. The extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superiors guided me to reveal this information to y'all, and then at the end show this other stuff. So this is what something that needs to be heard, and they say they want me to play this, but I'm not gonna play from beginning to end. But I'll play it enough in the hopes that they'll be satisfied, and hopefully they'll give me a signal when to pause it, so that way this video won't be super long. Hello, I'm Farmer Special Smith of the U.S. Army, and this is what the angels have guided me to tell the Russians. Now you must understand, as I've been telling you, I had these awakening and these abilities after I met the angels, or let's just all agree to call them extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superiors from outer space. Now, I've been talking to them, and as I was advancing my abilities, I thought I could help America by taking out the Russians with a meteor, and I called Gigantus from outer space to fall down on the Russians right in the center of Russia and take out all of them, and also unite their nuclear bombs while they're actually in that country before they can get sent off. And the beautiful part about this is that their country is going to be destroyed of natural causes, and they were never going to know that there was a man on Earth that had the ability to drop meteors on people's countries that he dislikes or likes, or that he decides to, just because I have this ability and they don't. So the Americans would have never got blamed for it, and they're still not going to get blamed for it, because they wouldn't be able to prove if I did it or if it was just natural causes. But I'm going to show them something. Now, check this out. When the meteor was coming towards Earth, I heard the angels scream out to me, "The wee babes, the wee babes, what about the wee babes?" And you know, I'm a real true Christian man. And what they're talking about, the wee babes, is the wee brand new infant children. Because in the eyes of God, these children are innocent and they have done nothing wrong. And they don't act like Vladimir Putin or think like Vladimir Putin until they grow up and become part of that particular mind frame set. But I just wanted to make it clear, the extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superiors were crying out to me because they did not want to harm these poor, innocent, wee baby infants, children. They want them spared. I want to go to hell. And if I have an invisible voice that's in my house talking to me, crying out to me, because he knows I have this ability, and I guess as Spider-Man and Teen Wolf said, great power comes great responsibility, I wasn't being very responsible trying to drop this meteor. So I got scared and nervous because, you know, I don't want to be looked at as like a devil or a demon in their eyes that woke up into these abilities that I learned how to do in 1st and 2nd Kings by studying Elijah the prophet and his apprentice after him, Elisha. And so I called the meteor off, and I screamed out and was trying to call the meteor off and all that because I heard them cry out to me about the wee babes. Because even though the Russians are sometimes rude to people of other nations, the angels have such soft and kind hearts. They know the wee babes in Russia had nothing to do with this. So next thing you know, I turn on the TV, and then it is said on CNN News that there was a meteor that came from outer space and united over Russia and knocked out a whole bunch of the glass, and all the people that was injured that just had scrapes and bruises from all the glass being wiped out after the meteor exploded. So that's strike one. Then I had mercy, and I saw the Russians picking on the USA again, the place where I live at, and I told the angels, I let them make it, but I'm not gonna let them make it a second time. And strike two is what they did with the votes. Now this is what the angels are doing. They're talking to me, trying to give me reasons, excuses, not to harm the Russian people and not to destroy them and stuff. So then I had a serious conversation with them and told them, if I wipe out the Russians, will that stop the Homo sapiens of planet Earth from continuing to grow? Will they still be able to find a 1,000-year lifespan and advance into the Star Trek age and all that without the Russians existing? And then the angels told me, yes. But then they also said that there's going to be a professor, a Russian professor, that's going to be born into the world. Maybe not this 1,000 years, maybe not next 1,000 years, who knows, maybe 100 years from now. But they told me he's going to have some type of event where the whole entire planet is going to benefit from him. So I guess that one Russian scientist that doesn't even exist at this moment, whatever education he's going to have and whatever event that he's going to do at this stage of mankind's existence, they should be spared just because this one dude that doesn't even exist yet. So then I started telling the angels, but you just said that we'd still be able to hit the Star Trek age without him, right? And they said, and they commented correct. So I'm still over here contemplating if I should do something dramatic to try to help the Americans out, wipe out Russia with another meteor, and then they would definitely know it's not a coincidence. Definitely after I said this, and if another one comes towards your country, and definitely it's in the center of your country, perfect in the center, perfect measurement, remember I told you that was me. I'm tired of these games with these Russians. They stole our nuclear technology, then they sold it to all the other countries around the world, and now guess what? Because of that, the planet's going to be extinct. And I'm going to tell you something else the angels been talking to me about. They said that we're not even going to be able to make 1 billion years on this planet, and we have 5 billion years left before the sun supernovas. Why did he say that? He said because we're going to destroy ourselves. And he's also commented that there's no reason the planet has 5 more billion years left, so there's no reason to waste a planet. So guess what they're going to do? They're going to come to our planet and then populate our planet after we extinct ourselves. These angels are proper, kind, respectable people, because they told me that one spaceship and one angel can come down here and take over the planet easily if they desire. But you know what they're doing? They're sitting back, relaxing, trying to see if we can exist on the planet the maximum amount of years on the planet, which is about 5 billion years more, before the species go extinct. And all because of the Russians who were real rude, stole our technology, nuclear technology, now spread it around the world. Now they have to, and I agree with that dude that sold it to him that he deserved to die, because he destroyed the world. And the Russians and the angels told me if the Russians and Americans don't cook it off, then it's going to be the Iranians and North Koreans and stuff like that. Somebody's going to trigger the nuclear holocaust that they are predicting that is going to happen. So here I am trying to save the world again by trying to save the wee babes of the USA. And I told the angels, the Russians don't care about the wee babes of the USA. They'll wipe us out in a second if they had a man that had the abilities that I have. And the angels told me, are steady trying to convince me not to harm them, leave them alone, you know, of that nature. So then I was telling them, I'm not trying to give the angels a threat, but I'm telling them, you know, I'm a proud American. I'm going to protect my country, and I will take out that country while making it look like natural causes took it out, but all it was is just a man of awakening that uses more than 70% brain capacity. And guess what? I can't read and I can't spell, but my brain has evolved to a point when I met the two angels, I felt my head like stretching or growing, or something was happening to my head. And then when I came back and I got all these gifts and abilities and stuff, and I guess I should be more proper with them so that the angels can be proud of a man that woken up into these abilities, a new AD guy that has the same abilities as Elijah the prophet. All it is just prayer power. I'm a normal, average, ordinary man with prayer power. I guess you can say. Devil worshippers and warlocks and witches have spell books. Christians and people who are Judaism, and I guess the Muslims as well, have got prayer books. And I have mastered these prayer books. Now, the angels did tell me to calm down, that not all Russians are bad, that there are other men in Russia that does not want to have a nuclear holocaust, that does not want to destroy the world, that does not want to invade other countries and be the bully of the world that Russia is well known for. So then I told the angels, well then can't you make those men come into power so that I can stop trying to drop, meteors on them, find excuses to drop meteors on them without them knowing that it's me? And the angels told me it is up to the Russians to vote these men that he just set into power. They said it's not up to the Americans, and they told the Americans not to mingle in their election process as they did to ours. And they said it is up to the Russian people to say themselves. They said the Russian people know the man that does not want to do all this nuclear holocaust and doesn't want to take over other planets, other countries, and wants to be rude and run around beating his chest and giving the world threats about using this nuclear technology that he stole from the Americans. You know what I'm saying? So wherever this man sounds like he's more rational, he's more reasonable, and he sounds like a man that I would have great respect for. And thanks to him, I was able to calm myself down instead of looking for excuses to harm the Russian people, calm myself down and see that the problem has took care of itself by voting in the right people of Russia to run Russia. Now, as the angel said, it is up to the Russian people. It is up to y'all Russians to vote these people in. The Americans don't want to bother you. Who cares? Adolf Hitler didn't win the world like he was trying to. Stop trying to inherit and walk in his steps. Great power comes great responsibility. I have the power to take a country out if I want to, but I'm not doing it. Now, sure, next time that I do it or attempt it, and the angels come back to me and scream, the wee babes, I can have a cold heart and be like, well, I may go to hell, but I saved the American people. And then also get this, it may be in vain because in 1,000 years, the world may flip upside down and the world, water may go crazy and stuff, and America may get wiped under the ocean and there'll be no more Americans left. Who knows? And then all this would have been in vain. I took out the country for no reason because my country was still going to be destroyed. Or maybe the Jellystone Park is going to have a super volcano, and guess what? It's like in the center of the USA. So now my country is destroyed. You know what I'm saying? From natural causes and stuff that I didn't do. Just because they said it's over time for the super volcano in, what is it, Yellowstone Park or Jellystone Park, something like that. It says it's a matter of time, but it's not a matter of when, but it's, if it would happen, but a matter of when it would happen. Another super volcano. So it could be, instances such as that. But all I'm saying is that whoever this Russian man is that the angels talk about, because I'm not from Russia, I don't get into Russian politics, I don't know Russian people personally, I don't have a Russian wife or girlfriend. So I don't really have any sympathy, as you may say, but I am very responsible with my inward abilities that the rest of the world have not waken up into. And guess what? Yes, it is true. Everything that you see me do, everything that you heard that I can do, guess what, gentlemen? Ladies and gentlemen, y'all can do as well and more. Y'all may be able to master the prayers and do stuff that I can't even do. But I can tell you this, if you don't meet two white Homo sapiens superiors from outer space and then come back with inward abilities, then you haven't mastered 1st and 2nd Kings like I have. And I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to go too much into that video, but I named the video earlier and I try to put it down in the information below underneath this video that I'm about to put out on the net in a little bit. And just so it looked like I'm almost close to an hour, so I'm about to try to just go ahead and get straight to the okay, the extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superiors told me to keep going, so I'm gonna keep going.
And so,
and when the extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superiors talk, they talk to me telepathically within my mind. So I'm just gonna listen and obey.
Once again, as I was saying, it's up to the Russians. Save the world. I'm going to calm myself down. I'm not going to try to haul any more meteors at y'all. Well, let me say I'll try my best. All I ask is that whoever this man is that the angels are talking about, that doesn't want to take over the world and doesn't want to run around beating his chest about his nuclear technology that he stole from the American people and giving Americans threats and stuff, and he doesn't have no reason to want to fight or war with us, and he has no objective to be like Adolf Hitler and take over the planet and make everybody speak German instead of English. Now, whoever this man is, I hope and pray to God that y'all Russians were...
Not to pause, but also just for the record, English is considered West German, if nobody knows that.
Respect this dude and vote him in. I don't know nothing about the political process of the Russian government, but all I know is that there is a man that doesn't want to walk in the steps of Vladimir Putin and walk in the steps of Adolf Hitler, and he is born and raised in Russia.
Remember, I said this, did not want to walk in the steps of Vladimir Putin or Adolf Hitler. It could not be a coincidence that this man, this Russian politician man, is the man that the extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superiors are talking about. And they told me to stop pausing and keep playing it. Forgive me.
And he's tame, positive Russian is what the angels say. You know, to show the world, hey, not all Russians are bad. Not all Russians are evil. Not all Russians are looking for excuses to be like the devil, to come steal, kill, and destroy until they conquer the planet. And one last thing before I let y'all go, I believe that we need to start some type of Starfleet down here, where we have all countries such as Russia, America, USA, America, all the rest of the countries included, where we can join a Starfleet, like I don't know if you want to call it government or whatever, association, whatever, and start working on the Star Trek age. Because guess what, Russia, and guess what, America? We both got 5 billion years before the planet supernovas. We both got 1,000 years left before the Earth turns upside down and the North Pole becomes the South Pole and the South Pole becomes the North Pole. We need to understand that we are Homo sapiens and that we need to learn how to work with each other. And I believe the common ground to get us all countries to working together is outer space. Let's join together and make a real true life Starfleet and start building spacecraft and stuff that can travel to the next solar systems. Let's go to the moon and build space stations on the moon together, so that we can have flights that take off from the moon that have less gravity, which means they'll be able to go faster and quicker to another planet in the solar system or to the asteroid belt or outside asteroid belt. Let's try to find some type of common ground, which I believe outer space, because we both know, Russia, that if we don't do something, our whole entire species, whether you like the Americans or not, or whether the Americans like you or not, it's all going to be extinct when the sun supernovas. And guess what? If the Homo sapiens of planet Earth have not found a way to planet hop to another planet, then guess what? The whole entire species is extinct. And one last thing before I let you go. The angels told me the reason why racism is not a problem for them, even though they look white, is that they have the ability to transform their skin tone any natural way that you see a person that has vitiligo or whatever that disease is, where the pigmentation of a person that got pigmentation starts coming out and he gets all these different types of skin tones before he gets to the albino skin tone. What the angels say, they have the ability to change their skin tone any skin tone that they desire. So you know what that means? Only us mortal Homo sapiens don't have that ability. And it's stupid. The mortal Homo sapiens are down here trying to hate each other Because they don't have the ability to morph their skin tone so the whole world can be one skin tone. You know what I'm saying? So because of that, we're so prehistoric. Ooga booga, ooga booga, me.
They told me to pause there, I guess, and that's perfect timing because it's like almost an hour. And this is just a bonus video. This video is called The Star Trek Definition of Psychokinesis or Telekinesis. Is the ability to move objects with the power. You know, that you just gotta look that up and it come up, but I'm just go ahead and read. It says Star Trek's definition of psychokinesis or telekinesis is the ability to move objects with the power of the mind without applying any advent physical force. And this is the 5-minute version. And ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to listen to the wind. When I step out of the car, listen to how the wind sounds, and then listen to how the wind sounds after the ball moves, when it's pushing and moving the ball. You have to use your ears. Even if you have to close your eyes or put this on speaker as loud as you can, listen to the natural sound of the wind when I get out of the car, and then listen to the sound of the wind when it moves the ball. Both of them sound different. And if you don't believe me, get some type of wind measuring to measure the sound of the wind all the way up until the ball moves.
So here we go, to turn off my car. Grab this ball right here. Try to go in the center. You know, kick the ball so people don't say that this is all, you know, fantasies. You know, so you gotta first see the balls staying still, and you gotta see me kick the ball so you don't see no strings or anything like that attached to it. And then I'm gonna state my request, and we're gonna see what happens. If I'm correct, it should happen immediately on command. That's how you know it's me doing it and not the potential wind that could be blowing in that area. So I say this is like a pretty good area. Let's just lay the ball right there. Oh, great. Now you want to move. It's like wind is too strong out here. Better go get the other ball. See if it'll stay still. If it too also moves when I lay it down on the ground, then I have to come out here on a day when there's not so much wind, because y'all have to know for a fact that it's actually me doing it and not the environment doing it on its own individually. I'm almost there at the car. I got a spare in the back. I was prepared for this. Just in case. Get this ball. Now hopefully this ball will stay still and I'll be able to get it to move. I'm trying to live stream shot this. Y'all see me go to my trunk. So I should probably have to kick it, but just let it, drop it on the ground and let it stay still, and then we'll see what happens. Now, I know this ball may be a little bit more heavier than the beach ball. But if you can get the wind to pick you up on the edge of your 10 toes and you weigh about 170 pounds, imagine how much pounds of pressure it'll take the wind to pick up a 170 pound man. So this little ball was nowhere near 170 pounds, so it shouldn't have to work too hard to move it. So let's see. As you can see, I'm just gonna toss it somewhere. Wherever it lands, it lands. Now here we go. Yahweh of Abraham, Yahweh of Isaac, and Yahweh of Jacob, who is Israel. If I'm a man of Yahweh, let the wind blow and cool me down.
I'm trying to trick it, see if it blows and cool me down, which is something I can do. It probably move the ball. That's it. Yahweh of Abraham, Yahweh of Isaac, and Yahweh of Jacob of Israel. If I'm a man of Yahweh, then move this ball. Come on, blow harder. You gotta blow harder than that. Give me a 360 degrees. Come on, Yahweh. Let's try Elohim. Elohim of Abraham, and Elohim of Isaac, and Elohim of Jacob, who is Israel. If I'm a man of Elohim, then let the wind blow and move this ball. Y'all guys up there in heaven know what a ball is? Do y'all have a simple twin out there? Come on, you gotta move, you gotta blow harder than that. Come on. Yeah, you almost got it. Blow harder, just a little bit harder. Harder. Come on, get it on up there. Come on. There you go. Come on, blow it a little bit harder. Just a tad bit harder. Come on. Yeah, you almost got it. Just a tad bit harder. Come on, move that ball 360 degrees around and it's over. Come on, move that ball. Move that ball. There we go. Success. I'm out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you heard that big giant gust of wind at the end, you know this is not a joke. And I am absolutely, positively, 100% communicating with the extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superiors, which is known as God's holy kingdom. And who is none other than the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, who is Israel, the God of Moses the prophet, the God of Elijah the prophet, the God of Daniel the prophet, the God of the extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superior Gabriel, the God of the extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superior Michael, the God of the extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superior Jesus Christ of Nazareth, who is none other than his one and only begotten Son, that who shall believe him should not perish but have everlasting life, who is also the God of me. Now, if you allow me, since this video has already went over an hour, I will now show you my evidence on how I also know how to win the lottery. Basically, I know how to change the pick 3 and the pick 4, the pick 3 from a 1 out of 1,000 chance to a 1 out of 10 chance, and the pick 4 from a 1 out of 1,000, from the pick 4 from a 1 out of 10,000 chance to a 1 out of 10 chance. One moment, please. I will start with the pick 3, and hopefully I have enough time before my phone runs out of footage. And this is how to turn a pick 3 lottery into a 1 out of 10 chance instead of a 1 out of 1,000 chance. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Today is Wednesday, February the 26th, 2020. This is CNN News, as you can see. And today I'm going to show you how you turn the pick 3 from a 1 out of 1,000 chance to a 1 out of 10 chance, or how to have a 30% chance. And as you can see, there go the news, and that's what time it is right now. It's a guy, I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see. Exit. Well, it's a commercial anyway. Here it is right here, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to cost you $50 to $100. If you bet 50 cents, it'll be $50. If you bet $1, it'll be 100, and so on and so on. And what you do, let's say if 0 is your favorite number, then you're going to buy out all the zeros from 001 to 099. So that way, if you bet on the first category, the first row, it'll be $50. If you buy out 3 numbers, it'll be $150. If you buy out 4 numbers, it'll be $200 if you bet 50 cents. And it will be $400 if you bet $1. Let's say you like the middle row. You do the same thing for the middle row. It'll be 0, 0 from to 099, and in the same way with the back as well. betting on your favorite number. Now, the 30% chance also gives you 3 chances to win is when you bet on all 3. The front half, the middle half, and the back half of your favorite number. That will give you 3 chances to win within the same day. For example, if 0 is your number, if 0 doesn't pop up in your first category, then guess what? You still have one more chance. If 0 doesn't pop up in the second category, guess what? You still have one more chance. And if 0 pops up in the last category, then you win. If 0 pops up in the middle category, you win. If 0 pops up in 2 categories, you win twice. If 0 pops up in all 3 categories, you win 3 times. If you buy it out 3 times, it is. And that's going to be, if you bet 50 cents to $150, and if you bet if you bet $1, it'd be $300 because you bought out all.
And that's all I'm going to say right there. That's just, you'll just need the meat, because I don't want to make this video too long. It's already 1 hour and 10 minutes. I don't even know if YouTube will let me download that much. But just in case, let me go ahead and hit that pick 4 real quick. This video reads how to turn the pick 4 lottery into a 1 out of 10 chance instead of a 1 out of 10,000 chance. And it's pretty much the same strategy to pick 3, but I'll let myself explain it better than I can. Well, I guess it is me. Correction as I am. Here you go.
Today is Wednesday, February 26, 2020, 5:15 p.m. Now I'm going to show y'all how to win the pick 4, or should I say not win pick 4, turn the pick 4 from a 1 out of 10,000 chance to a 1 out of 10 chance, or a good 40% chance to win. And it's basically the same strategy that you do with the pick 3. You bet in the first line. Let's say 0 is your favorite number or the hot number for day, evening, middle, whatever. You buy out all the zeros, which is going to be $1,000. And that's a 1 out of 10 chance. If you like the second row the same way, you like the third row the same way, you like the fourth row the same way. Now, the good 40% chance is to buy out the 0 in each category. And it also gives you 4 chances to win. For example, if 0 is not shown, if 0 doesn't go in the first row, you still got 3 more chances to win. If 0 is not in the second row, you still got 2 more chances to win. If 0 is not in the third row, you still got 1 more chance. And let's just say if 0 just happened to be in the fourth row, then you win. Or if it in the third row you win, the second row you win, the first row you win. As long as you see a 0, it's your payday. But what I'm saying, what you want to do is go to number frequency, figure out which is the hot number, which is going to be the top number out of the 10 numbers, and bet that number in each category, because that hot number 5 or whatever it is, whatever it will be, will probably not be in the first row, the second row, the third row, but most likely be in the fourth row. And you automatically win. So you can do a 1 out of 10 chance instead of a 1 out of 10,000 chance. Do 1 out of 10 and bet 1,000 by betting out all the 1,000s in the first row or in the second row, whichever row you like the most. Or you can clean up and own the lottery board by just betting it in each and every row, in each and every category. Whatever your favorite number is, or whatever your lucky number is, or whatever the hottest number is in the number frequency, you will put that in those categories. And of course, it will be, in this situation here, it will be 0, 0, 0, 1 to 0, 9, 9, 9. And you repeat that in every category if you're just trying to bet in the first, second, or third row. Now, if you want to dominate and bet in all 4 rows, it's the same way, but just in different categories. And that's how you win the pick 4.
And just for the record, you can also bet 50 cents and it'd be $500 a play. But unfortunately, that would only be half the profit, of course, naturally. And now I will show you how to win this final video, the all or nothing, and then that's when I'm going to stop and let the video end here. All I'm trying to do is show my superior intelligence, my superior intellect. Even though I can barely read and write and spell my own language, I'm good at numbers. I'm very intelligent when it comes down to the Holy Scriptures. I have extraterrestrial Homo sapiens superior buddies in outer space who watch over me and got my back and help increase my intelligence. About 95% of everything I pray for or request for usually comes to pass. So if I desire it or if I request it, then all I gotta do is go out and pray and counsel with them. And if they agree that it's okay, then usually it come to pass, and I have a 95% chance that that will happen. One moment, please. And here's a video of me winning the all or nothing, or getting close to winning the all or nothing. It's a game where if you collect all 12 of the numbers, you get $250,000. And if you collect 0 of the numbers, you get $250,000. And of course, we already know the lottery commission is corrupt, and they're always going to try to stop you and block you from winning, because that's why they monitor the bids before you actually play, so they can have the advantage to change the machine and ball set on you. But anyway, I'm trying my best not to, because it's already way past 1 hour 16 minutes. So basically it reads, the man that knows how to win the lottery with $10 or more is what this video is called. And just the first paragraph, the man that knows how to win the lottery with spending nothing more than $35 to $60 or more, who is also a 100% disabled Iraqi freedom veteran, needs help from the USA. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Smith out.
I apologize for that typo, that mistake. And also, just for the record, I also know how to win the Powerball and the Mega Millions as well, and the Texas Lottery, but I prefer to keep those to myself, so that way I won't have no competition. And not only that, I know how to win the whole entire world's lotteries. All I need is a number frequency, and if I can translate what is a 0 through 9 and what is each number category is, then I can pretty much win any lottery, or should I say any honest lottery worldwide. And I would dare even say I know how to win any honest lottery the whole entire endless void wide or universe wide. No matter what solar system you are, if you have a lottery, I can go there, definitely have a number frequency, draw a beautiful, magnificent trap. And if your lottery on your solar system, in your solar system, or your section of the universe, or your section of the void where you exist at is honest and does not cheat like the Texas Lottery Commission does by monitoring the business, they can change the machine and boss it on so they can have more losers than winners, because that's how they benefit. That's how the lottery commissions worldwide, and I would even dare say nationwide, make their money. They make their money off of the losers, not the winners. So guess what? When a nice, super intelligent man like myself come step forward and has all the master strategies on how to win all the lottery games, guess what? I'm bad for business. That's why they like to cheat, and that's why they like to monitor the bids so they can have the advantage to change the machine and boss it when they see fit. And I'm just gonna let this play briefly. I'm not gonna go too much into this video because it's a pretty long video, but it's just 5 minutes 58 seconds. But here we go. And anybody that wants to test me, and if you think you have an honest lottery in your state or in your country, put me to the test. I guarantee you I'll win it. But if it's corrupt, of course I'm not going to win. You're going to cheat automatically and change machine and ball set on me, as always.
Today is Wednesday, February 26, 2020. For all those people that keep saying that I'm crazy, I don't know how to win the lottery, there's the proof and the evidence right there. I can win, and I will win, as long as they stop changing the machine on me and the ball set on me on days that I play. That means in order for them to know when to change the machine and the ball set, they are monitoring the numbers. And that is very scary for all those people out there that are intelligent enough to win by the power of their brain. For them to have the power to change the ball set in the machine at will whenever they desire to is ridiculous. Because they not only do they control who wins and when a person wins, but then they also can make the jackpot get bigger to like $1 billion, and then let somebody win as well. And the more bigger the jackpot, the more people win. I mean, the more people play.
and the more money they make money off the losers. The people who spend big to win big, but they also sometimes spend big and lose big. And everybody else that's trying to win with their birthday numbers and with their lucky numbers and stuff. Me, my traps is instant. I got the instant lottery ticket where I win by the power of my brain, intelligence. And this is I won on a nothing. I just got one right. And what I need help with America, because not only are they robbing me, but they're also robbing you as well. Because some of y'all could have probably had won the lottery a long time ago if it wasn't for them changing the ball set or the machine at will. So I need some type of help for from the USA, because I am a 100% disabled Iraqi freedom veteran, second of the 506, Alpha Company, Weapons Squad, 1st Platoon, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, 42223. That's where I was stationed at. And they say they help veterans, but guess what? They changed the ball set and the machine on me on days that I play, and I'm a veteran. And I say that is unfair. And also, what if you're also smart enough to win the lottery? Will they also change the ball set on you? Will they change the machine on you? It's unfair. All I want to do is have a fair fighting chance to win the lottery and live the American dream. And I don't want them, just because they have the power or the permission from the U.S. federal government, to look at the bids for the jackpot before the jackpot automatically plays, so they can have the power and unique understanding of when to change the ball set or the machine, so they can have more losers than winners, and also to prevent a smart man like me from jumping in there and winning all the money. Because while y'all spend thousands of dollars on to try to win the lottery, all I'm spending is $54, which is 27 combinations. And when I play the Texas lottery, I don't need no more than like $60 to $100 max most of the time. And the Powerball and the Mega Millions is about a good $333, each one of them. And if they rob me, they'll rob you. If you're smart enough to win, you will get robbed as well. And it's unfair because I'm original native of planet Earth, and I am smart enough to win, therefore I should be able to win. And this is the logical reasoning and proof that I have before your eyes, how I won. I can't show you the rest of it, maybe you can make some of those numbers out, but I don't want to show the rest of this ticket because I had to play all of these combinations, and guess what? They couldn't be everywhere at once, just like I predicted. And this is how I hit them. Now what they're going to do now is continue to change the machines in the ball set, because guess what? I can win $250,000 a day, or $250,000 a week, or $250,000 a month easily. You know what I'm saying? Just with this strategy that I have, no more than 27 combinations and spending $54 and winning over $500. USA, if you're listening, CNN News, if you're listening, I need help. Help me out. Help this veteran out. All I want is a fair fighting chance to win. And I don't want them to keep changing the ball set and the machines on me and making the Mega Millions and the Powerball transform into $700 million or $1 billion just because they keep changing the machine and ball set on me, because they don't want me to win cleverly by drawing a number trap and only betting on the first 3 lines of my number trap. And this is how I win this money, and that's how it's 27 combinations, and that's how it's $54. Smith out. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I lift 180 pounds with each arm, throwing punches with them. I'm not doing pretty boy muscles. I was doing warrior muscles. I have the super intellect, intelligence. I'm also slightly a telepath. I have a psychochromatic ability. I even have another video where I can show you a domino game where I put my finger on the outside of the domino and I can pretty much figure out what domino I need, and I can be 10 steps ahead along with the extraterrestrial Homo sapien superior. And so I prove the super intelligence. I prove the super strength. I got psychokinetic abilities, telekinetic abilities. I talk to God telepathically on a daily basis. And this is all proof and evidence that I am not a joke and I am a force to be reckoned with. And the best thing to do is keep me calm and don't get me mad and pissed off and have my adrenaline raised by me trying to call and scream asteroids and meteors and comets from outer space to take out a certain country of origin. And I ain't gonna lie to you, my next target is China, because China then released this virus and the whole entire world has suffered from it. And I got strategies for them too, because God said, God said in the Holy Scriptures that if God be for you, he's more than the whole wide world against you. And guess what? China worships the dragon. So if the whole entire world, they got their ass kicked by China and this damn virus, was to group up against China and whoop their ass or force them to turn their country into a democracy and then set them free and leave them alone, then guess what? They did it to themselves with their short man complex, releasing the virus and getting pissed off. You know what I'm saying? And I can tell you what happened with that. You see, the USA already owes China we're in $1 trillion debt with China. And then Donald Trump hit them with a trade war. So now we're already in $1 trillion debt with China. Then Donald Trump hit them again in the pocketbooks with a trade war. And then the Chinese people have the short man complex. And I saw a vision of the Chinese government, head of the Chinese government, standing up and clapping, saying they were clapping, going, "Success! Phase one has been completed." You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. So that means there's going to be a phase 2 as well, believe it or not. So keep your eyes open for this. And then I saw this vision, and this is all I saw in the vision. And then also I heard the one and only true living God tell me telepathically that China was not going to manufacture the virus worldwide like they intended to do, which meant that they were going to spread this virus worldwide no matter what. And they decided at the last moment not to manufacture, not to multiple manufacture this virus. So I'm working on them. I'm trying to do tidal waves. They got volcanoes up in there. I'm gonna try to do all sorts of stuff because they cannot get away with what they've done. And the worst part about it, I love the Chinese women, but I only love the nice, curvy, sexy Chinese women. Them little flat ones I don't really care about. But anyway, that's irrelevant what I was talking about. May God bless y'all, and may y'all live long and prosper, and may y'all stay healthy during this time of this worldwide pandemic. And also, I have a new video out that stated that America will have herd immunity by July. So I want to tell all y'all Americans that be watching this video as well, happy 4th of July, 2021. Smith out.